Hello, everybody. I will be continuing my thoughts on creationist series. I just wanted to get this video out first, since now we are going to discuss why I think God exists. And we were going to go first. The first thing we're going to have a go at. Well, actually, you know what? Before we start discussing this, I just want to address this one thing. How somehow that hold on. A few atheists try to argue that, well, if God doesn't have a beginning, then the universe doesn't. Well, why does it have a beginning? We know it has a beginning. So, by that logic, that's the worst type of logic. By that logic, it still doesn't even make sense in that type of logic. Because you're comparing the universe to a spirit, a thing that is outside of space-time. Why does it have to be outside of space-time? Because we can't see it. Because we can't see it inside our own universe, inside of space-time, then it has to be outside of space-time. Otherwise, we would have seen it by now. Seen God by now. I get it's hard to grasp the concept that God has no beginning, but the universe has a beginning. It has an age where it just stops it just didn't exist. And once it existed, it stayed that way up until now. So, no, the universe has a beginning. You're comparing a spirit, which is outside of space-time, to a universe which has a beginning. A spirit does not necessarily have to have a beginning. Therefore, that logic fails so bad. No creationist says everything has to have a beginning. It just says, we're just saying everything that's within space-time has a beginning. I mean, it's literally called space-time. What do you expect? And the funny thing about this argument is it uses no logic whatsoever. It just assumes that people are dumb enough to go, oh, I get what you're saying now. That logic fails so bad on so many levels that I could go on and on about how it fails so badly. God doesn't have a beginning because God is a spirit. What is a spirit, you may ask? Well, I usually define it as a being without form or mass that exists out of space-time. meaning it doesn't exist within space-time. It exists without any space-time. In other words, nothing. It exists within nothing, or what we would consider nothing, because we could really only see this outside of space-time once we become a spirit, because a spirit within that realm. So, and due to the fact that every living thing has a spirit, once a living thing dies, it will be able to see outside of space-time. But since we only evolved to see things within space-time, we cannot observe God. Now, atheists would also like to claim, well, why isn't there no evidence? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because if he literally wanted to show himself, almost everyone would worship him out of fear rather than actually worshiping him. Think about it. You are a spirit. You created the world and you created man. Why would you want to show yourself? Why would you want to show yourself to your subjects if you know that your subjects would just worship you out of fear because of how selfish and greedy we are? You wouldn't, right? Why would you want to keep your proof in a world where you're just basically going to be worshipped out of fear? Why would you want to do that? So no, what? So basically asking that question is asking somebody, is basically the equivocation of asking somebody, well, why do spirits exist? Why is there no proof for spirits? Of course they wouldn't show themselves, because they exist with outside of space-time. Give me one accurate claim that holds any bearing on reality. You can't? Why? Because you really can't argue at all this subject. And a lot of supposed contradictions could easily be explained. The supposed contradictions in the Bible could easily be explained by using what method? Biblical figurativism, however you pronounce it. It's basically reading some of the passages. Let's take Genesis. If you read Genesis as a poem, it makes a lot more sense than reading it as a historical narrative. Because by then you could get, if you do that, that's more likely much more of a better claim. That has more logic because it would explain the repeated phrases and the words that have different meanings. Now, these things can also be explained by different perspectives. People saying from different perspectives will often have different stories to tell. It's kind of like a first person, second person, third person. They see it all from different perspectives, and thus they don't know of their others' perspectives. So of course you're going to see some contradictions because you're seeing it all from all different perspectives. Somewhat. Some of the stories are seen through one perspective alone, but even still, some people will see it from different perspectives. Sometimes you'll see it from God's perspective. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.